Dr. Verma was saying it rightly, it's at the age of 45. If you are unable to get a salary package of 1 crore rupees, dear friend, you have not done anything in your life. And maybe by the time you will be at 45, because he was talking about this 45. Let's look at your 45. At that time, even 1 crore rupee will not suffice. Because the way things have been changing over a period of time, maybe in 70s, it was in 60s, it was 100 rupees with it. House can be, you can buy all the groceries. 70s, it was 1000. 80s, 90s, it is 10,000. 90s, and this 2030 is around 1 lakh, and then maybe 2010 is going to be more than that. It means each decade, a zero has been added up. We have to look into that area. The vision should be very clear what we want out of our life. Whatever profession we want to go in. Fifth one is control. What happens? Most of the time in our life, we have everything perfect. Who makes mess in your life? Which we say destiny and time or something like that. Dear friend, destiny is never there. A very simple thing. The whole life has been divided into two parts. 90% part and 10% part. 10% is that part in which something will happen to you on which you do not have any control. You are suddenly coming, and suppose a dog has come from somewhere and bitten. No control. A car has come hit you. Anything on which you do not have control. 90% is the time of life which is based on how you reacted to that test. It means until unless you have better control on yourself, whatever comes in your life, react it gently, like a gentleman. If you are doing it, if you are changing yourself to that kind of a thing, never go for a have-and-that reaction to your life, to your career, in your corporate life. Never try this particular thing. Have control on yourself. And where the control is? The control deals with circle of influence and circle of concern. Circle of concern are many. It could be corruption. We should change the government. All those kind of things. What's happening around? Law and order situation. What? Rightly, I think Dr. Verma gave you everything what I am discussing right now. He was rightly saying that he said that it is fundamentally, it is never the other areas of concern. It is basically how the leadership and how ultimately the R&D and ultimately how you deal with your employees. That is going to define the excellence in your organization. Nothing else in your life also. What you need to do, improve upon your reaction all the time. Good. Keep an overall control on all your actions so that you can react to any kind of situation. Because like the boss, the ultimate board of directors said something to the director to the president to the VP to the GM to the manager to the supervisor to the further subordinate, then to PM went down. He is also disturbed. What to do? He has listened something. He goes back and suddenly his son comes and he slaps him. The son cannot do anything. He goes out. There was a dog going on. He kicked the dog. See the chain reaction. So next time when any problem occurs, pick that dog and give it to the chair. He will kick the dog. And the job is over. All the people that is got disturbed, no more disturbance. What's the problem? What's the problem? The real problem is with the identification of the real problem. Most of the time, we are being taught, use this tool for market research, use this particular thing for this particular study, use this particular thing to clear up this hypothesis. Dear friend, we are very well versed with the kind of survey, the sample size, the random sampling, the SPSS package, everything. We are very good at tools. But the industry complains that our students are not good in identifying the problem. As a manager, your job is not to go for those statistical analysis. Practically, that can be done by anyone. At the time pocket on written on some paper and something like that. But in your office, you can keep those formulas open in front of you. Even you can ask your assistant, okay, please do this analysis. But what's the problem as a manager? Your role as a manager is just to identify the problem and solve it. And you know, whenever we get a problem, we go to our boss. Sir, excuse me, sir, yes, I have a problem. Then solve it. That's what you have been kept. That's why you have been given this kind of package. Solve it. But how to solve? Because you really do not know what's the problem. Dear friend, in this world, either there is a problem, or either you have a problem, where you find, or a solution. Otherwise, the rest of the statements are nothing but excuses. Mind. Mind. Next. You know, how to identify the problem? I like this particular, these set of words. He says, begin with the end in the mind. Now, whenever you have to find out some problem, just think on the lines of what the solution will be. For example, I think the greatest problem, okay, I'm not going to tell you about the problem, I am going to talk about that. Kuldeep Sharma solved the problem dealing with the consumer behavior for a particular brand of toothpaste by putting up an ingredient which was helping the customer for their cavity problems. It means most of the time what we are sure about is the last statement which we want to hear. That I did research on this. I found out this. I found out that there was a fall in demand with the increase in price. The final result, the end in mind, I can keep. And this is where you know that intuition comes into picture. Where your gut feel says, your heart says, try to listen to your heart also. For professional purposes also. In that particular case, just listen to that. If that is the last statement, problem will be defined automatically. Then do a research on the utility of adding some kind of ingredient for solving the cavity problems, or what is that to find out the relation in between the price and demand for a particular product. It means once you have got that final statement in front of you, the problem identification becomes easier. In the industry, the very day you will be joining, they are going to give you the first problem that identifies the problem. That this is happening, our sales are going down, just find out why. It means problem identification is much more important than finding the solution. Lastly, I feel like this, and this is what the DJ that I also said. Most of the time, though, we talk about some rapid implementation of the things also. Somebody talked about TTM or speed in terms of time to market also. But what I personally feel, over and above everything, if you have not enjoyed your life while working, you have not done it. You have not gained anything. What's the hurry? What's the hurry? Take time. Why you are trying to happen to the things? All of you have a long way to go, long life to enjoy. Everything happens. Why do you worry? It's something like that. For few persons, that train may come in time and they may board it and they will go to their destination. For few, it may take some more time. But train will come for it. All of you are there at the railway station. It will come. What's the hurry? Why taking time? Don't worry about your future. It's very safe, very intact. Lastly, what are industry aspects of it? Or rather, what you should, in your heart, you should be able to answer these questions after trying. What is my contribution? Whatever is happening in your life, whatever is happening in your organization, what is your contribution? Then you are also to think, what do I want to contribute? Is there anything else? This is my contribution, but this is what I want to contribute. Over and over, but I am told to contribute. At times, it so happens somebody tells us, directs us to contribute. And lastly, what should I do? The thing is that all the time think of not, and all the time don't expect the organization to give. What is your contribution to the organization? Lastly, ultimate motivation. If you people can get this by challenging everything and anything. Why? You do it 5 times and you have the answer. Whatever the problem is, you say why, give the answer, again why, 5 whys gives you the ultimate answer. It will reach you to the final destination. Very intelligent question. Understand? Whatever I said. I hope yes. Thank you.
For a very good thought. Now it's an immense pleasure in introducing Mr. Manish Bhatta to all of you. Mr. Manish Bhatta has done his MBA in International Business from the University of Business School, Punjab University, Chandigarh, which is one of the leading management institutes in the country. He commenced his career in 1994 as an export officer trainee with Usha Intercontinental, an international trading house belonging to the Usha Shriram Group. Since 1997, he has been associated with Oriental Carbon and Chemical Limited, a concern of Duncan Boinga Group of companies. The organization is indulged in manufacturing and selling the products to the leading car companies of the world, primarily Goodyear, Continental, Bridgestone and Firestone. He is currently heading the export department of the company, where he is designated as Export Senior Manager Export. Mr. Bhatta has widely traveled all over the world and has been experienced in the field of international marketing of industrial goods to multinational industrial conglomerates. It's indeed a pleasure for us to have Mr. Bhatta in our institute. Now I will request to Mr. Manish Bhatta to please share his valuable thoughts with us.
What a pleasure to be here, and especially listening to the words of listened by the leading practitioners of the matter. I'm relatively inexperienced when compared to these guys, and I think it's the kind of golden role to provide opportunities for people like me to come and bring this to them. There is one question which I want to ask before I start the speech. Everybody knows that the Indian software industry is doing very good. The Indians are very good software engineers. Germans, they are also very good technical. They produce world-class machines. Why is that the Germans are not good software engineers? Can somebody try to answer this question? Why do you think the Germans are not good software engineers? The problem with the Germans is that they cannot develop and sell anything if they cannot take it up and take license for. So software is something which you cannot take and take license for. That's why they are not inclined towards new software engineers. And I'm not. I'm a German. I understand only production. I understand only commodities. I only understand doing international business in products and companies. Now, how many of you are wanting to have business in international market? How many of you would like to have a business, would like to carry international marketing and international business? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And how many of you would like to have a career in finance? And how many of you would like to have a career in marketing? Investing marketing. HR? What I've seen is that the number of people who would like to opt for finance is more than people who would like to opt for international business. But the fact of the matter is that at this point of time, in any company, the number of people who are required for international business are much more than as compared are 3 people who are looking after international marketing. And there are just 2 who are looking after finance. But still, we don't have the talent coming out from business schools who are very interested in making a career in international business. Yes, I've been told that yes, the international marketing is being taught in all of these schools as one of the subjects. But can anybody who has studied international marketing as a subject differentiate between a bill of lading and a bill of exchange? The difference between bill of lading and bill of exchange. International marketing people.
The bill of lading is used at a time of export putting with the close trading. It's a bill of exchange is a monetary thing which can be transferable.
No? Anybody else? Okay. Finance, question to finance. Difference between assets and liabilities? Assets and liabilities. That's all. Assets and liabilities. Anybody can tell the difference between assets and liabilities?
Assets are those properties or those possessions which can be converted into in terms of money either in short run or in the long run.
Okay.
But liabilities are those possessions which should not have been possessions actually,
Okay.
which the person who is liable is going to pay to someone else. It's an obligation.
Very simply, more or less right. Now, what assets and liabilities are to finance people? Bill of exchange and bill of lading is to be financed. Now, this is the first question which I ask anybody who comes to my office. Give me a part of international Steve, and let me tell you, 95% of them won't even know about it. Why? To show that there is so much of opportunity which is existing in international business, but still you don't get enough management graduates who have inclination, who have got aptitude, and who have got the requisite training to be a part of international business initiative of any company. What I'm going to talk is very basic. I'm going to tell you the opportunities which are available in the international business for people like you, and why it makes sense to have a career in international business. My three friends have already talked about the prospects, about the management principles, about the wisdom that a business manager should be having. I only going to talk about opportunities. So these are good times for international business. The exports are growing at a rate of 12% per annum. Last year, international business grew by 21.2%. 51.7 billion, that is what we did last year, and 57.8 billion that we as Indians would be doing this year. Exports are booming and so are imports. Custom duties are down, free imports are allowed. There was a time when most of the consumer goods were there in the restricted list, but now they have been moved and imported more open to the list. So you have imported apples, imported juices, ready-made garments, cutlery, electronics, you name anything, and you find imported goods on the shop shelves. Who is doing it? Who are the people responsible for this? Who is managing this whole affair? Now there have been traditional exports which have been doing well. Like textiles, ready-made garments, gems and jewelry, handicrafts, agricultural produce. That was the exports we used to talk about when I started my career in 1994. Now it is new age exports. We're talking about steel, automobiles, pharmaceuticals, auto components, and specialty chemicals. Now, everybody knows that competition in India is growing. It's a cutthroat competition. Companies are under tremendous pressure to keep down prices and to make and to still keep on making profits. So how do they do it? So one of the ways to do it is to reduce overheads, and that can be done if you have large economies of scale. Now the problem is that if there is a demand for say about 3,000 tons of a product in India, how can you make 6,000 tons? But now the companies are realizing that yes, they can have 6,000 metric tons of capacities and the extra capacities can be exported. Now this is what happened in my company also. When I joined this company, that is Oriental Carbon Chemicals, this is part of AVSEQ01, 70% of our produce was going domestically and 30% was being exported. Now it's the other way around. It's now 70% which is being exported and 30% which is being sold domestically. In the process, we have become 5% total of the world market share. In the process, we have become 70% of the Indian market share. And in the process, we have become the leader in the terms of technology also. Because once you start exporting, at that point of time, you are positioning yourself against the best in the country. So, but the problem is that yes, international business is growing, but there are not enough management graduates, those who can carry this particular wave forward. There are only a handful of institutes which train people for international business. One is the Indian Institute of Trade, and there is one institute from which I am part of, that is the University of Chandigarh, and then there is Symbiosis Institute of International Studies, and then I got active in Delhi School of Economics that was started, MIT. Okay, fine, there. But the fact is there's a lot of demand, and that demand is not being fulfilled. So many of institutes you have in Delhi, in Gurgaon, in Ghaziabad, in Noida, but they produce people in marketing stream, finance stream, IT stream, system stream, you name any stream they will produce, but not in the management stream. My idea is that when I'm speaking, I am presenting not only myself, my company, but I am also representing my own industry. My idea is to encourage you guys and girls to have a serious look at international business as an opportunity to make it happen. Just to give you an example, now we also have MBA marketing in our institute, and we also have international business specialization in MBA. Now if you compare the values of international business graduates and compare it with the marketing guys, you would find that international business guys have risen much more dramatically than when you compare it with the domestic guys. Because here you are taken as a specialist. Now, just to give you an example of my own class. Now, we have got one guy who runs and owns a company worth $1 billion. That is the size of TCS, bigger than Infosys, and bigger than LG. That guy started just 5 years ago. He is now the largest distributor of computer components in the world. He manages 42 offices around the world. He has an office in Gurgaon, which is staffed by about 500 people. And that's only because he thought to enter into international business and see where he is. There is another guy who is country head of Fortune 500 multinational company from the United States. There is another guy who is heading the gas station operation based in Dubai of a large conglomerate in India. I was made head of the department and I keep at the age of 27. I've been signing my company papers right from the age of 28. So there is an opportunity, and now we are going to look at those opportunities. And I'm going to try my best to make it more enthusiastic about international business as a good option. And then how can you, in spite of the fact that you are coming out of, you could be doing MBA marketing or MBA scheme, how you can complement your own degrees and try to be international business. When we talk of international business, we talk of various things. Now I'm going to talk about now these are all different businesses. Export marketing is something that is somebody who produces and I'm responsible for selling it outside the country. And most of when we talk of international business marketing, most of them understand as export marketing. But then international trading. Now see, how much scope is there in international trading? Now, the custom duties have come down. Everybody now wants to have an imported item. They want to eat imported food. They want to give to the children imported cereals. My wife, when she buys for my child, she goes for imported garments. She goes for imported diapers. But who is doing all this? It is the traders. They import from overseas and they sell it in India. And believe me, in international trading houses, you don't have the guy who understands international. That's the problem. So probably in the sense you can be one of them. You can be, if you are rightly trained and if you are inquisitive, background knowledge about international business, you can be one of it. Then imports and distributions. International trading, when I meant international trading, of course you import in India and sell in India. Then you also source from India and sell outside India. There are so many people who do trading. There are big industrial conglomerates that both have international trading divisions. Tata has it, Apollo has it, ITC has it, Duncan's has it, you name any, and Shriram Group has it. Everybody has an international trading division and they require people who have got international business. Then imports and distribution. Now that's the area which is growing leaps and bounds. Now suddenly the Indian corporates have also realized it makes more sense instead of producing here to import, put your own brand and sell it. So you must have been hearing about national Panasonic factories in India. What are they doing? This is the guy whom I personally know. He imports Panasonic factories from Japan and distributes it here. Similarly, the electronic companies, instead of manufacturing the products here, they are importing and selling in India. Car companies, they are also doing the same thing. They are either in the sense of exporting the car as it is, or they are importing it in semi-knockdown conditions and selling it in India. So import and distribution is another area where a person would like to make a career in international business can go. Then there is something called intenting houses. Now what happens is that there is a buyer in India and there is a seller outside India. Now nobody knows of each other's presence. So what do? So the intenting houses, they bring them together. It doesn't import on its own, but facilitates both of them to do the business and earns the commission in between. Intenting houses are big things when it comes to international trading of commodities and international trading of chemicals and agro products. So this could be another area. Now international marketing research. I was talking before we started this seminar that this is the area where this is originating. I've been in international business for about 9 years now, and I face this problem day in and day out. I don't have reliable marketing marketing research which is being done, yes, which is being done for the domestic companies, but market intelligence about the overseas market or the overseas company is not forthcoming. This is another area which could be a virgin territory for people like me. International business logistics. Now, here when you interact with these companies, you would really be surprised that they are world class in terms of. They really want MBAs to work for them, but they don't get it. Have you ever thought of making a career in chartering? The problem is that these guys, they don't hard sell themselves. They pay good compensation. And people like you won't even know that these kind of companies exist in India. Not in India, in Delhi itself. There must be about 40 to 50 companies, those who specialize in chartering of ships and chartering of aeroplanes. International research that was mistake, that was needed. Shipping companies. There are a lot of shipping companies. I am not saying that you have to sail in the ships. But these shipping companies, they have their own marketing offices in India. P&O, Maersk, MSC, MISC, Dongnama, Hyundai. Have you ever thought of working with these kind of companies? Now these kind of companies, they have their own offices in India. These guys don't get enough MBAs to work on. Now I am guys that are definitely not interested in working with these kind of companies. But probably it would be of interest to you. Airline companies, the cargo divisions of Lufthansa, SAS, all these companies, including Air France, Lufthansa, SAS, they run their own freighters. They require MBAs to do marketing, to book the orders for the cargoes. Then there's something called international freight forwarders. Now this is the concept of just-in-time. Now these are the multinational companies who have set up offices in India. And they say, okay, fine, if you want to deliver, say in Yokohama and Japan, you take responsibility of picking up your cargo from India, custom clear it here in India, ship it, custom clear in Japan, warehouse it if it's necessary, and deliver it to your customer. Now these international freight forwarders in Delhi itself must be numbering about 100. At least 100 international freight forwarders are existing in Delhi itself. But again, whatever interaction I have, whatever people I meet, I hardly get to meet MPs. Custom house agents. Now big custom house agents, those are responsible for custom clearance of goods. They also write on your behalf with shipping companies, with airline companies. They also have the paucity of the good managing intent. So this is a virgin area. This is a completely untapped area. This is the area which you can actually focus. You can develop them, and I'm sure the response will be very positive. International business, knowledge about international business would also help you to get jobs in international finance companies, in banks. Banks also easily require people with international specialization because they are dealing with exporters, they are dealing with importers. They require somebody who could understand right from the beginning what the data credits are, what does it mean to raise finance from overseas. They also want to have people who can understand what an EFC means. So again, banks are also looking for people who have a minimum knowledge of international business. Embassies, they are hired by trade officers. Then there are consultancy firms, chambers of commerce. CII is one of the regulars who pick up international. Software I shouldn't say call centers, but BPOs, they pick you up as domain experts. Law firms. Now these days, because of so much of international taking place, it has also led to a lot of litigation, and which is international on the internet. Is most of these are international arbitrations, and the two companies from overseas and India are dealing. And there are customs litigation, and there are anti-dumping duty litigation, which is becoming a norm these days. So all these are the areas which are still emerging. IFT, UTS, any school of Kurukshetra University put together don't produce more than 200 people. Let's say Symbiosis is another 100, 300 people, those who specialize in international business. Probably this is the area where you can actually think of any career. Now let's see what makes it so hot. As I told you, exports are now lifeline to the companies. If you cannot export, you just must survive. Let me give you an example of my own company. We have got a small challenge. I would say small because we have gone yes, we have not been able to go. He sells 100% of his produced domestically. We took a decision to expand our capacities to about 4,200 tons when the Indian demand, the total Indian demand was 3,500 metric tons. The fact is that we produce, our per ton cost is 10,000 rupees per metric ton less than that guy. So that's why in a sense, we are expanding, we are setting up a unit in China also, and that company is on the verge of a growth. So the exports are now the lifeline of the companies. The government is always supportive. The government wants foreign exchange earnings, and I have always seen that they've always been supportive about exports. They would like to have more and more companies, getting into exports. They have been coming with a lot of stocks. There are a lot of duty benefits which are given. There are a lot of foreign exchange benefits which are given. All the exports. You are a specialist among the journalists. The fact is that you are respected in the company because you know something which the other guy doesn't know. At the end of the day, the exports is still a technical field. It is because it does a lot of commercials. You still need to interact a lot with the customs, with the Ministry of Commerce, with the Excise Department. So it is still very technical. There is something which you know which the other guys don't know. Then the international business exposure. You travel a lot. You start traveling just after 6 months of your joining the job. The amount of the travel which you do, the international travel, not domestic, the international travel which you do is definitely fantastic. In my short span of 9 years, I must have covered about 40 countries. So this kind of exposure allows you to understand the different cultures, understand the business processes of different cultures, and could also, at the end of the day, actually add to your own experience, which actually enhances your market value. Overseas postings. Now that is when the overseas postings are being decided. The international business person is the first one to be considered. And as I told you, international business logistics is the virgin area for MBS. This is the area which you can definitely go and find easy jobs. Then the competition with the IM, FMS, XLRI, was these guys, they don't offer specialization in international. Now certainly in the sense you're not dealing with them. Your competition is limited to only few students. As I said, it is the entry-level shortage. Last year when I was hiring, I found it so difficult to get a person. It took me 5 months to hire a person at was working in Ghana, that's why he was interested in coming, and I had to really put in a lot of incentive. We had to give him a salary which actually disturbed our salary structure, and then only in the sense we agreed to join. There is a serious shortage of entry-level guys in the international business studies. Then it's very difficult to get the entry-level people with the international business faculty. Now, aptitude, we are going to talk about later what international business aptitude is. Mr. Gupta talked about attitude, but what I feel is that in the international business, both require the right kind of attitude. How can you get it? Please supplement your degree with either 1 year diploma from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, which is an evening course. You can also opt to do an executive master's program in international business from IIT, which is a 3 years course, which is again a part-time course. If you would like to join law firm, then you can do international trade law from Indian Law Institute, which is again part-time. If you want to go into international finance, you can think of doing diploma in treasury and forex management from ICFR. Mr. Gupta was telling me that MIT also offers a 1 year course in international business. So what is the requisite talent? It's a global vision. The fact is that just because now when you are working in the exports department, you are the frontline guy. You are the guy which is supposed to drive the company forward. You are the one who is interacting, who is going to the international market. You are the one who will pick up the trends first hand. So it is very necessary because you are the one who is going to mold the vision of the company. So it is very necessary for you to have a global vision. You should have interdisciplinary skills. Now the problem with the export department is, as I clearly said, and I very often notice that anything to start with EX, whether it is export, whether it is size, whether it is exchange analyst for currency accounts, you are supposed to deal with everything. The idea, what I need to say is you need to have the skills of finance also, you need to have the HR skills also, you need to have the IT skills also for you to be a successful international businessman. You need to have an open mind. Now when I say open mind, I mean to say that you should be very receptive to the ideas. In the companies, generally you would, especially in the traditional Indian society, you will find that people, they are closed mind when it comes to accepting their ideas. They would say, fine, we are making this, we are making money. Why should we add value to our product? Why should we invest in research and development? It is you who would be responsible for being receptive to the ideas, to communicate to the management about the necessity of implementing those ideas. Communication skills. The fact is that when you are representing your company on the international business levels, you need to have an excellent communication skills, both word as well as spoken. And it would do a lot good if you can add it, you can have some foreign language expertise also. Appreciation of foreign cultures. Now there is a guy whom I know who was our classmate. He had a lot of problems, especially in international marketing, because he was strictly addicted to Indian food. We could not even think of having burgers or sandwiches. And at the end of the day, after 2 years, he realized that he's not around for foreign cultures. Because it's maybe connect you said decision of foreign culture, because if you meet a nation, you can talk to him about his family, about how many children he has, what does his children do, you would like it. But it's the same thing. If you would ask to your friend, you would find that you are including into his personal life. So you need to greatly appreciate the finer differences among the different cultures. You need to have a great appreciation for quality. The quality which sells in India will not sell abroad. And and you should not even try to sell it. The problem, it is slowly and steadily we are the Indian corporate sector have also started realizing that not each and everything we make would sell outside. There was a time during 94-95 when the world was discovering India, and anything coming out of from India was going to be got. Kuch bhi bana do bika, but not anymore. The fact is that the international quality standards, because I experienced day in and day out, the kind of the quality commitment that continental diet requires from me, Goodyear brake piston Firestone requires from me. Parents, it is definitely much higher than what is demanded by the companies like Seat and Bell. So, and we should be able to appreciate, yes, the quality requirements are much more stricter overseas. Foreign language, if you can learn, it will be of help. Growth prospects. So you are seen with respect. As I have said, this knowledge is not everybody. Now, as the exports are becoming major components of sale, capacity as we are talking about, also now talking about exports being the major component of sale, and so would be the case with almost each and every Indian manufacturing company. So if you are the one who is heading the major component of the sale, you have the far more chances to be the CEO of the company. The carriers have global frontiers. You have foreign postings, you have much more responsibilities, and then it's very easy to source. International business jobs are there in plenty. People are looking for the managers, those who have got international experience. So, and instead of you finding the job, it is mostly you are handling it. So with this I end up my presentation. I sincerely hope that I will be able to pass in international business as an alternative career for everybody of you. If you have any questions, if you have any, because this is some of the areas might be wanted to use, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us today. Now I would welcome Sridhar for carrying over for the brainstorming session.
I take on the question and answer session. In the head of the department MBA program, I got a special proposal from Mr. Bhattacharya. Having learned something about international business, which is taking this hold of all the areas of international marketing, international finance, international logistics, and including international HR also. So it's a proposal which I need to check it out, moderate my director also at later stages. If there is any feasibility of having an in-house certification for my MBA students, a one-year program in the area of international business, so the offer is always there from our side, and so we can have to work on modalities. So we await your acceptance at later stages. So now I invite some questions from my students and student delegates here.
What I would suggest is, since we are running out of time, maybe we can take 2-3 questions and we'll give our mail IDs and you can mail it to us any questions you have and we'll answer you. And my mail ID is pkgupta@legato.com. Feel free to ask any questions.
I'll be spelling out. The first email ID is pkgupta@legato.com. LEGATO. pkgupta@legato.com. Second one, info@kuldeeponline.com. info@kuldeeponline.com. Third speaker, export@OCCLindia.com. export@OCCLindia.com. But we do take some questions here. Please tell the name and spell out the
slight in one form or the other, it has been talked about in Mod 4. Slightage principle is you need to find out your edge, right? And the slightage principle is based on any of the horse races. The horse which comes first and the horse which comes second. It's a difference of 1 by 200 or 300 of second, but the price difference is millions of dollars. So you need to find out your slightage, and that will be your winner, whether it's IB or IT or finance or any area, right?
My question is for Mr. Pushpendra Kumar Gupta.
Okay.
My name is Tarun.
Yeah,
From the valuable thoughts that you have shared with us, I really appreciate that. I totally agree to whatever you have said, but my sense is that you do not agree to one of your points,
sure.
which you have, used many times, that if you do not have it in you, you are not required, because you have 10,000 meters standing in front of you, right? So, don't you think, sir, that if you have selected a particular candidate, and if he is lacking somewhere, shouldn't it be the responsibility of the company to give that particular candidate the time to groom himself? Don't you think it is the responsibility of the company to help that candidate groom himself or herself?
Absolutely. See, what happens is, I'll give you my example. Let's take one by one. See, definitely, all the companies fail. One of the points, if you remember, I did say that unless you fail, you are not earning. Right? So you are given a chance. It's like in our company, we have 2 chances. We give the person to improve 2 times in 2 appraisals. If he doesn't improve, or if there is a counseling session, if 2 times counseling is done, and 3rd time he does a mistake, he's out. Definitely, it's not that you are just thrown out unless you have really done something against the culture or ethics of that company.
Yeah. If I go by Mr. Kuldeep Sharma's words, that what's the hurry? I mean, you talked about the example citing Unix and NT. If that particular employee has brought knowledge to your company using Unix, maybe if you help him groom his NT skills, it could bring wonders for you.
Sure, but in what time? That's why longevity matters. If you get strict, if you remember my words, I said, if you say no, I am only going to work on Unix, no NT, then you are out. But if you are ready to learn, yeah, you will be given 1 week, 2 weeks time to show your skills. Over a period of time, you will grow. It's not that you are just thrown out. Nobody does that.
My question is to Mr. Kuldeep Sharma. Sir, I saw a movie Gladiator, and over there, an actor in the movie specifically said, live today, fight tomorrow. When all of us came to any corporate world, or maybe ALG, maybe with Mr. Bata, whatever. That is a struggle we have to face. But in order to prepare ourselves for that struggle, how do we survive today?
Most of the time it still happens that you have to plan for tomorrow. And for today you must have done it yesterday. So the thing is, if you can only feel comfortable in today if you have done something yesterday. So the thing is, all the time we keep on looking forward towards tomorrow. Tomorrow is nothing. But whatever you have done yesterday, whatever you have planned yesterday, whatever the kind of vision you clear, whatever you planned yesterday, it is going to become tomorrow. So tomorrow is not something which is very new or something about this created or not something. You can create it, it's fine. Otherwise, keep on wondering what happens. That's the matter.
Hello, my name is Swagata Gupta. I'm from James, doing my PhD at Thurston. My question is to Mr. P.K. Gupta. As you introduced a new concept of work right now business is facing, and you spoke about job, time, loyalty. I just want to ask you, how much it is proving ethical to the business? This is my one question. My next question is, you introduced the concept of managing expectation. On the other hand, you say being a student or being a fresh recruitee, we are not supposed to know about the job description. I feel like these 2 concepts are coming against each other.
Okay. Let me take the second one first. See, if you remember the words, it's not that you are not supposed to know the job description. You are supposed to know, but you are not. Should be flexible that, sir, these were the 10 points when I was given the job. These were the 10 points which were written in the job description, and that's the only thing I am going to do. I am not going to do anything beyond these 10 points. Those kind of people are not required. Fine, those 10 points are guiding principles, or you can say the guiding lights. Once you are in the industry, you will be doing 10 or 20 other jobs than what was written in the 10 job description. So job description just take it as a guide
prosperity. And what was the first question? On the job.
You spoke about the concept of work.
Right.
So, you spoke about job, time, loyalty, and different things.
Right.
I want to ask, like, how much it is ethical to business right now?
Okay. Very ethical. Okay. See, it's a matter from both the sides. If you talk about job, right? You have to look at a win-win situation. Corporate also has to be ethical, and you also have to be ethical. Okay. So both the sides balancing out has to be done. If you look at one of the reasons of .com fall, because ethics, right? Whether it was Arthur Anderson, see one guy. If somebody has studied the Arthur Anderson story, it's one guy who killed the whole organization, who shredded the documents which were not supposed to be shredded. That internally Arthur Anderson knew that the query is going to come for Enron, and they will have to produce these papers. Official letters were not issued, but so while he continued to become ethical, unethical, he destroyed it without telling anybody. And when the top people asked those papers of the old transactions and all, he could produce. Okay, so you have to be ethical under these circumstances. That's why the environment is very, very complex and challenging. How to be ethical in this fast-changing world, in these multi-dimensional time and job and all those things.
So how do you define ethics then during present circumstances?
Ethics with question mark. And that's what you might be seeing. So many compliance issues are coming, whether it's SEC 17 dash 4A law or massive 3010 or FOIA law or Sarbanes-Oxley law, or so many laws have come to control these unethical practices of the top bosses in the corporate world. And they are already there in the US, where all these things happen. But in India also coming, a lot of institutes have started courses on ethics. So ethics are in question mark at this stage in the corporate world.
What about personal ethics? Are they correlated with the organizational ethics?
Definitely, you are made, the organizations are made of people, nothing else. So you have to be ethical. Unless you are ethical, how do you expect the company will be ethical?
But there might be a conflict of ethics.
Yeah, sure, there will be. So you have to decide. In fact, one of my students from IIPM, I was speaking a similar kind of thing. He joined the job last 3 months back, and he's in a similar issue. I helped him, and he's out of the crisis. So these kind of, when you will go to the industry, you will see you will have these kind of conflicts all the time against your personal ethics and the corporate ethics, and you will have to balance that out. Probably one last question, and then we can.
My question is for Mr. Bhatta. Sir, this is regarding exports. Our country is the massive producer of mangoes and cashews and silk, but all in good size and standards. But the best is all exported. We Indians never get to see the big cashews which are produced here. They're all exported to foreign countries. Is it not discriminating against us?
Unfortunately, such kind of making such kind of practices. But that is what goes. Fact is that if you don't, if the farm who's producing cashew, who's producing mango, isn't it more important that he should be getting the real value of his hard work? The fact is that there is somebody who is ready to give you a better price for the product. Okay, fine, in sense that at some point of time you will also raise our earnings to those levels, thereby you will also be able to afford. So the fact is that in the international business, and as I understand, okay, the fact is that wherever you get more money, like you said, that way in the sense you are doing justice to the one who is producing it, and then you are also bringing the value of the foreign exchange, and then since the product is being exported, it is not only the farmer who is benefiting out of it. There is somebody who is warehousing, there is somebody who is packaging it, there is somebody who is designing it, there is somebody who is transporting it, and there is somebody who is perhaps selling it. So just by one act of producing the mangoes and selling it overseas, the Indians will not do it. The Indians are on the whole benefiting out of it. So such kind of things should be encouraged. Now I've been a strong strong supporter of the fact that why in the sense that why there should be a ban on the export of meat and rice, which sometimes happens. Now, if an Indian farmer, on the one hand, you give money to your farmer just to subsidize, and if without subsidies he's earning to his satisfaction, then why not? So I think so. This could ethical issue could be of class to an NGO. For international people that personality.
Suppose the question has been actually after everyone. So I am taking up only one answer from my side. Sir was speaking about network economy. So my question is, what do you see the future of human relationships after 100 years? How please actually manage to save such a human relations 100 years down later?
Remember, I still said that whatever new models will emerge, still B2B and F2F will survive. Okay, still people would like to do business with people. Trust is the main thing, and the trust will only come when we are face to face, whether talking through video conferencing or through telephone calls or through cell phones. See, one of the reasons of .com call is when the eyeballs, people started valuing companies based on eyeballs. People thought that companies thought that people will buy T-shirts and all those things just from the net, right? We want to feel and sense. So I still feel whatever the new economies, next economy, there is an interesting book on next economy which talks about the industry what you are talking about. Human relations will remain as it is. In fact, there will be much more demanding time for human relations as we go to the network economy.
Please excuse me for this, but this is an important notice for all MBA first year students. Are required to submit their original mark sheet of graduation and original TC, transfer certificate. If any student have gap in education, they should submit a gap certificate on 22nd 9/2003, that is on Monday, before 11 a.m. in the office. This is a very urgent notice because University of Pune is asking them for the same. Probably the admissions may have cancelled for the same, for not submitting the notice. SC, ST, NT and OBC students submit their original caste certificates. Pass on this message to all your first year colleagues MBA as soon as possible and as many as possible. Thank you.
I, on behalf of PJMR family, thank the esteemed dignitaries present here for honoring us with a gracious presence and sharing with us their sea of knowledge and experience. I would like to thank the faculties and student participants from other business schools. I would also like to thank the sponsors for the seminar, as it would have been very difficult for us to carry on with our efforts without their support. Last but undoubtedly not the least, I would like to thank our director sir, who kept faith and provided us with the resources necessary to organize the event. We thank you sir and all our respected guests for enriching us with their work. And last but not the least, I thank all my students to be a real patient listeners and making it a great success. Thank you.
I would request all of you to accompany us for tea session in the amphitheater just outside the auditorium.
I would just add one more thing to his question. I just remembered which kind of inspired me 25 years back. One of the things probably I expect and believe it will be possible is beam up from Star Trek. So, although I will be in US, you will be here, I'll say beam up and you will be there.
जब मनु ने इला को देखा तो दोनों के मन में एक तरह ध्वनि पेंटिंग एग्जीबिशंस पर। इसके अलावा भारतीय विद्यापीठ द्वारा आयोजित एक सेमिनार जिसमें ये दिखाने की कोशिश की गई है कि इंडस्ट्री को मैनेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स से किस तरह की एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं। इसके अलावा होगा फिल्मी संगीत, और हम आपको बताएं कि आज के कार्यक्रम में करियर काउंसलिंग सेक्शन में आज का बहुत ही दिलचस्प टॉपिक है आज फैशन डिज़ाइनिंग में किस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज अवेलेबल हैं। और आप जानते हैं ये फ़ोन इन कार्यक्रम है, आप 5:45 से फ़ोन करके हमें अपने प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं। इसके लिए आप हमारा टेलीफोन नंबर नोट कीजिए। टेलीफोन नंबर है 23421669 23421669। उसे देख लें।
बिल्कुल अजय।
लेते हैं ब्रेक।
शुरुआत में आपने रंगों की बात की थी, तो क्यों ना इसी को जारी रखा जाए और रंग एवं कल्पना शक्ति के अनूठे संगम की बात की जाए। आज इवेंट्स में हम आपको दिखाने जा रहे हैं लक्ष्मण पाइप की पेंटिंग एग्जीबिशन की।
Expectations attached to these management students. Bharatiya Vidyapeeth did a seminar to understand what are the expectations of the industry people from these management students.
तो आइए देखते हैं इसी पर एक रिपोर्ट परोमिता भट्टाचार्य के थ्रू।
World and management gurus. No, these terms are not at all new to us these days. We all know that business management means everything for a business. Management means to maintain the status of a business. It means to develop a new business. It means to make profits to a business. It means, yes, many other things. Business management and industry interface has a very, very wide range of meaning. Maybe the definitions are same, but definitely the directions and dimensions are different. But how does and to which extent business management can affect a business? What does the industry expect from management personnel? And what's the role of business managers to develop or to destroy a business? Yes, friends, today we are all set to find out the answers of these questions. जी हाँ दोस्तों, इन्हीं सब सवालों का जवाब ढूंढने आज हम आए हैं दिल्ली के भारतीय विद्यापीठ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट एंड रिसर्च में बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट संबंधित विषयों पर आधारित एक सेमिनार अटेंड करने। The name of this seminar is मार्गदर्शन. The name well suggests that this seminar is going to work as a proper guidance for management personnel.
There are various events like seminars, workshops, which are held in the college, which give us a platform so that we can go in the corporate world and see what's the scene like over there.
Margdarshan is all about industry and student interference. We are having Margdarshan over here for just we want to interact with industrial people.
Even though the people think that AVSEQ is only organization which is giving approval and also monitoring the progress, it is not like that. Our budget is more than 130 crores, which is completely spent for promotional activities, for guiding the institutions to have the better curriculum, better syllabus, research activities, faculty development programs and so on.
Objective behind starting this institution in Delhi was to expose the students to the finer aspects of management and develop entrepreneurial and research skills in the students. And since beginning, it has been our endeavor to expose the students to such seminars, workshops, industrial visits, activities, etc. And we have been conducting many such seminars in the past. Last year we organized Corporate Social Responsibility, a national seminar which was sponsored by AICTE, a workshop on intellectual property rights, a Renaissance 2002, which was a national festival, a management festival wherein 25 business schools from different parts of the country participated. Then we organized case writing and presentation competition wherein many top level management schools including MDI, IIM, Lucknow participate. And this seminar, which we have named as Margdarshan 2003, Margdarshan is a typical Indian word because we want our students to be given the right knowledge, the right kind of guidance. Our faculty, the in-house as well as the visiting faculty, the guest faculty from the industries, they always try to get them the right knowledge as far as the industry, the different subjects are concerned that are being taught. And the objective behind organizing this Margdarshan 2003, which is Industry Institute Interaction. Because basically our customers, we take it as the industries. The students having completed MBA, MCM, MPM, PGDM, MMS, the courses that we are running, having completed these courses, they will be joining different organizations. Maybe some of them may develop their own industries, may or start their own industries. But unless they know how to interact with the industrial organization, what kind of organizational behavior is existing in the organizations, they will not be confident about themselves. Through such events, the workshops and the seminars that we organize, we try to get them the right kind of insight into the industrial behavior.
An interaction, a feeling of a corporate life and the attitudes, ethics of the corporate should be brought up into the minds of the students while they are getting educated. Normally this is a second year student who gets benefited, first year students who get guided by the event so that they can carry upon the event in the next coming years and they can keep the trend on and on and on.
So this we keep on organizing different people who are coming